Hello again and welcome to my second video of Besiege. Before I start today, I will say that I went onto the Steam workshop and was massively impressed by some of the things that are in there. So, they've got aircraft with foldable wings, they've got, am I doing this one? They've got land ships, they've got ATVs, they've got some seriously impressive designs. People have clearly spent a huge amount of time on those. I doubt I'll ever build anything that impressive. So yes, all I have to do here is design a machine that's going to withstand the assault of all of these little fellas. Now they seem to have spears and shields. On one hand, I quite like the looks of the game. It's very abstract, very simplistic, very smooth, very clean. On the other hand, I wish it wouldn't constantly blur when you zoom in. Come on, load. Load. No, you don't want to show us from that direction. Okay. It's like that, is it? Yeah, it's a bit odd. So, yeah, I could build something sort of small and efficient. But I think I'm just going to build something absolutely fucking massive. In fact, I may even switch off the building box limitation. I don't think you really need the limitations, do you? So, festoon it with 1 billion weapons seems like an idea. See how large we can actually make it while leaving space for weaponry on the outside. What should we stick on the outside? Spoked balls. I haven't used metal blades at all. I need to shrink all of that down by 1 if I were to use those. Spike cannon, flamethrower, small torch. Yeah, I think I'll actually use blades. I've not used blades at all. Seems like it might not be a terrible idea. Spinny. Just make sure they will fit. Nope. Jesus. How much fucking space do they need for these blades? That's insane. Yeah, I think if you want to stick blades on everything, you clearly need to remove the box. I mean, I like the idea of the blades, but they do seem to be somewhat I wonder. Christians. Yeah, if I were to no, that's going to be the wrong way, isn't it? We're just messing around with these things here. There, that's the correct way around. Definitely. Of course, it does mean I would actually need to have that one up or one down would actually work. And there's my crying out loud. Why are you being a cunt all of a sudden? See, you're just fine when you're like that. You do it like that, it's a no-go. Okay, fine. Do it this way then. And then erase all of this, because you don't seem to want to work, and then rebuild. put them on the side as well. I think just that will actually do. So that gives you that. It's also obviously going to require some sort of floorage, some sort of propulsion mechanism as well. Would not be a bad idea. Why is that a no-go all of a sudden as well? No, I want to put it under there. So I'm not entirely sure how that works. Let's just see. Apparently it doesn't. Apparently it doesn't actually spin. It says it was going to spin, but it didn't. I may end up then just scrapping that idea entirely. So putting it on a base and see how that works. Aha, yes, now it's spinning. So that would theoretically potentially work, however. That would mean no propulsive elements. Because once you put that down, you'd not be able to fit wheels on there. The wheels would just break it, wouldn't they? Yeah. I like the idea, but I'm not sure there's any way to make that work. Also, it wouldn't be mobile at all. Unless... I'm sure this is absolutely thrilling to watch. Maybe if that was to drop down once it had come across there. Let's see if that would drop down. No, underneath. There we go. So they are at ground level. If there was some way you could just adjust the height of the camera rather than having to piss about with angles, that would be eminently more useful. Because then if you had the blades on there instead, that would be there, but then you'd have to do that. That could possibly work. Let's just... is rotational. It would need much smaller weaponry, wouldn't it? So you just don't have enough space. Those blades taking up such a huge amount of space, it just wouldn't work. So what I could do instead is go back to circular saws, because everyone loves a circular saw. They're always a great deal of fun. Because they could actually be attached underneath, maybe, possibly. and they would then be low enough and far enough out. Yeah. I mean, I would rather have had blades rather than circs, just because I haven't used them at all. Come on. Don't be like that, game. Yeah. Still a little too far. I'm not sure why I decided I wanted spinning things. I mean, not exactly what you would call essential. Just thought it would be cool and a little bit different. Now, are they going to be high enough? No, I think it actually needs to be dropped down by one as well. On, game. Come on. There we go. So it is 2, 2, 2, 1. So that's 2, 2, 2. And a 2. And a 1. And a 1. And a 1. Yes. So yes, today on woefully inefficient designs. Come on, you've got to be kidding me with this bloody camera. I'm sure there must be somewhere a camera control for see, now the issue we have is how the hell do we steer it at all? Small blockage, small block, small block. There. Pop down some wheels. Rear wheel drive, front wheel steering. Because why not? Bit of bracing. Should probably put the wheelbase in before messing around with this. Okay, release the wrong mouse button then. Come on. We select that. There we go. That's a good boy. And now we select that angle. This could be a tricky one to build. Just a little bit of a brace there. So we need to leave sufficient clearance as well. For the wheels. I mean, technically I suppose it doesn't have to be mobile under its own power. Realistically, it could get away with not being so. Is it one metal plates there, is it? Doesn't really give coverage one might desire. That's probably a little bit better, actually. So we have some weaponry, some braceage, some locomotive ability. Let's just see how that goes, shall we? Let's see. Seems to get grounded. Let's just see what broke there exactly. Yeah, apparently as soon as it begins spinning, it breaks. I don't quite get. Okay, so if that's going to break, what we're going to do is replace that with some solid. Oh. This could be tricky to manage. Oh fuck, where's that gone? No, actually that's going to be too untidy. Let's rebuild and wooden block there. Putting in a solid brace. Oh, the camera angle from there to there. Hopefully that might keep it a little more intact. Let's see how that goes. No, it's just not spinning at all. See, I was kind of hoping to make it go spinny, and the spinning just isn't working at all. That's a shame because it would have been cool. But with these blocks being so destructible, it's just a bit of a non-starter. So instead we'll go back to the traditional big fuck off box, just with weapons all around the outside. Perhaps at some point when I'm not recording it, I'll put the time in. That's actually not going to be sufficient. Yeah, perhaps at some point when I'm not recording, I shall mess around with that and get some sort of spinning weaponry, just because it would be really awesome to see. Yeah, I think will be sufficient. Let's just make sure the saws fit. They do indeed. Okay, so we know the saws fit, so let's and a massive tank-like structure. Let's see how often can we space those. Not quite. That's unfortunate. Not quite enough space there. So what we'll do instead is remove. Makes me wonder if instead what I should do I'm still not going to be able to space them there though, am I? See, exactly where I can put braces along there just to reinforce the structure. Yeah, that seems a bit more. Move them across one, yeah. So move those across to the edges instead. It would be much easier if I gave in and abandoned the idea of building it within the building box provided, but I want to work within the limitations the game sets rather than going into, you know, the free form mode. So that's our basic fuck ton of weaponry. So what we need to build now is put down a little. That should be sufficient space to throw down some wheelage. Yeah, it should be more than ample. See, the biggest problem is these wooden blocks are so ridiculously weak, fragile, and just break as soon as someone so much as looks at them. Really need to spend some time reinforcing them. So that's in. That's in. Not too sure about that. Stick wooden panels in various. I think possibly. See, I don't think it provides any sort of structural reinforcement though, it's purely for looks. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure it does anything. I think really if you want to protect it you do actually need to use armour. Which again I don't suppose actually adds any sort of structural integrity to the device. Just looks cool. and hopefully might provide it with some sort of yeah, see, there's no nail armour everywhere you can, proper orc style. Now the downside here is the wheels themselves are very exposed, and what I could do, I suppose, is try to build some sort of wheel arch, and it's got to come in over the top. I wonder if instead of that, the trouble is making sure there is sufficient clearance. And stick some small blocks either side. And just a bit of wooden. Yeah, as wheel arches go, not massively efficient. It does provide an element of cover. If I'm doing that, I may as well just use actual armour plates. Except armour plates have to be centred, whereas wooden blocks can be down the side. But yeah, that seems to be reasonably functional, so let's repeat that. Yeah, but those do have to be one further because obviously they have the steering units. Should probably have built this from the inside out rather than the outside in. Now that I'm thinking about it. Are you gonna let me? No? Yes? Yeah, there we go, that's a good boy. And here. Yeah, well, for some reason I didn't do that one. Yeah, okay, note to self for future reference. Build from the inside out rather than the outside in. It's a lot less fiddly that way. It's now going to be very tricky to get to. Massively unwieldy. Ooh, no, it's the one way round, isn't it? I wonder if that circular saw is actually going to cut through that now. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. Done that again, haven't I? It is, as advertised, massively unwieldy. Maybe just throw down a bit more structural reinforcement just for the sake of it. I'm not sure if that's even going to be possible. It's attached. So if I attach that bit to there, bit to there, and that bit there, that bit to there, and cross brace these sections. Am I overthinking this? Let's see how it goes. Well, it locomotes and it hasn't completely fallen apart yet. It seems to be doing a good job murderizing them. However, yeah, sections of it are now falling apart. Yeah, those archers seem to have done a bit of a number. Yeah, the archers do seem to be a bit of an issue. Let's try just driving it forwards through them all. Do I have the power to reach the archers before being stopped? No. No, I do not. Let's see what exactly on it is that's broken. Yeah. It's very much the archers that are the issue there. So, and the lack of locomotive power. So if I solve the archer issue just by... because of that there's not enough space to put down armour. Stick them there just to give a bit extra protection. I just don't seem to have sufficient power to drive forwards. It's rocking left and right like a reel. Definitely lacks sufficient locomotive power, I think. Yeah, see, and then the entire midsection gives way. I'm going to admit this is very poorly designed, but I'm going to continue. So it's rocking left and right. There's not a lot I can do about that, is there? Yep. Right. Try this one again. It's built on a wider wheelbase, perhaps. Go really crazy. Let's go double steering, double power, and massive bracing. Just all the bracing all the time. Because if the wooden bit fails, it doesn't really matter, as long as the bracing, this wooden section in the middle, is inevitably going to fuck up. That doesn't really matter, as long as the central section is still functional. There's one too many there, isn't it? I'd really love to mount something that wasn't bloody circular saws for a change, to be honest with you. See, they can only be mounted on one side. I don't have space. And I'm very much being defeated by the boxes here. Not big enough. But it does prevent level progression if I do that. Could make it a slightly narrower wheelbase, then I could bring that in one. Maybe the only solution bring everything in by one. Oh, why is the camera moving? That leaves me again with a very, very narrow wheelbase, which I'm not a huge fan of. So then we go for a single block just beyond, one double blocks down, actually that also needs to move in an additional one, doesn't it? And just for the sake of stability and having a bit extra drive, put in a bit more power and brace everything. Come on. Come on. There we go. Come on. There we go. Nope, down there. Well, that's not exactly tidy, but bearable. It's much easier to build things in sandbox mode, has to be said. Now what was I going to do? Stick spiky things? Long and along. I know is still not going to be enough space. Drills, no, also not enough space. Circular saws there would be, but that'd be no good because they're not actually going to make it across. I suppose I could bring them across, but then if they were underneath, trouble is those things are too high up. I don't think there's actually sufficient clearance for the yeah, it's not going to move at all because the balls are mounted too high. So you know what? Back to the saws, because they just work. Don't require too much faff, they just simply function. Build up. How do I want to do that? I suppose just going all the way along would do. And build up a second tier. Some gaps with small blocks. Gap there, gap there. So that's all the gaps pretty much covered. And then how would we best do that? I mean, I'd like to use actual armour. Sufficient clearances. Okay, not exactly, but close enough for our purposes. These down, these down, these down. A little more down here. This is the bit I'm most unsure about, because what we really want there is to see, yeah, that would work. That's only going to cover 2 there, and then 2 there, and 2 there, and 2 there. It's not going to cover the central section. Do it that way. If I do it that way, 2 there, 2 there, 2 there, 2 there, 2 there, 2 there, 2 there is still not going to cover that, is it? The problem with it being oddly numbered, it is somewhat irritating. How can we fix that? I suppose it doesn't really need to be fully. I was thinking covering the entire top, so it doesn't really need to be completely covered, does it? I mean, actually just building it up around the outside. Provide coverage from the worst of. Raise. slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. Those. The weaponry is very, very exposed. Before fill those in. Stick some more bracing in from there to there. Braced on that side, let's also brace it on the edges there, front to back, or side to side, depending on how one looks at it. It only needs to remain solid enough just to hold up a little. Oh god, it's gargantuan and unwieldy again. Yes, it's not a pretty design. I mean, it's emphatically not a pretty design. Oh. I don't think I can build there because I've got the bracing there. No, apparently you can build over bracing. Oh, well, that solves that little bit of an issue, doesn't it? Didn't realise it was possible to do that. Suppose logically the correct thing to do would be to stick a ton of weaponry on it. You know, use this top bit here to stick flamethrowers and cannon and the like. I might actually do that. I just, you know, a few bits. Just finish off the flooring. There's always one, isn't there? Well, it's looking a bit more secure, I'll give it that. Is it, however, structurally sound? Let's have a look. Nope. Steering completely non-functional. Okay, what went wrong with the steering? Can we look at it underneath? Yeah, steering not exactly what you would imagine to be Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. I'm gonna say that was a success. After a fashion. Let's try that one more time, shall we? Problem is when it drops, I just gently set it on the ground so it doesn't immediately fall apart. Hey. Build up a bit of steam, forwards and backwards. Oh dear, explosions and death and murderizing. Yeah. Not brilliant, but functional. After the fact the circuit is sort of spinning, seeking victims. Yeah, not massively successful, but a success nevertheless. I'm going to call it there, I think, and go for a cigarette. Thank you very much for watching.